Welcome to PTV World's special transmission regarding the Pakistan and India's tensions that are on the boiling point. Joining you from the newsroom, I am Ali Ahmad, and today we will be updating you regarding the important updates that are unfolding, that have been unfolded in today's date, and the very important update that the United Nations Security Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif to discuss the situation between the two countries and has asked for the de-escalation of the tensions. And Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, he has reiterated the call of United Nations Security Council's stance and the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres for an impartial and transparent investigation. But unfortunately, India in this regard is not facilitating Pakistan. India is trying to hide its incompetencies and is not providing any forensic evidence, any substantial evidence to Pakistan for the investigation into the Pahalgam incident, in which unfortunately, a very unfortunate incident in which 26 innocent civilians were killed. And it is the most gruesome form of the attack in which the unarmed civilians, they are targeted, they faced atrocities, they faced barbaric behavior. So India is trying to sabotage the peace of the region. India is trying to malign the image of Pakistan. So today we have been joined in the studio for further discussions by our analyst Mahnoor Qureshi. And we will be joined by our correspondent Hassan Gilani for adding further insights. So Hassan, regarding this important update, United Nations Secretary General, he has called Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, and it is the second call in a week. Yes. So what further details would you like to add?
Well, apparently it implies that the situation is very worrisome, because the Secretary General calling the Prime Minister 2 times in a week implies how dire and how worrisome the situation is. And there seems to be a method in the madness, because a couple of hours back we have heard a statement coming from the Indian Defence Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, saying that what has been promised will be done. Now, this is a very hawkish statement. Absolutely. On the part of the Indians. For the last nearly 10 days, we have been seeing that India has been holding hostage the world peace in the aftermath of the tension that is prevailing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the entire regional peace, it is at stake.
And the Iranian foreign minister coming to Pakistan, the UN holding a session on this issue, the Secretary General calling twice, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, the OIC giving a statement, the entire world focusing its energies and attention towards diffusing tension between Pakistan and India. It implies and it drops a strong indication of the fact that the situation is very worrisome. It is deteriorating with each passing hour. And I would neither like to overplay nor downplay the rhetoric that is being emanating from India, but the fact remains that they are up to something really evil. This man, which is named as Mr. Narendra Modi, can do anything. He is a very unpredictable man. He has hands of several Muslims who died in the Gujarat riots in 2002 on his hands. So it would be really, really naive to expect something wise from him at this critical hour. He is really hell-bent upon coming up with something really disastrous for the region.
Hassan, here I would like to mention that, you know, in 2002, Narendra Modi, when he was the Chief Minister of the Gujarat state, he massacred Muslims and he was denied a United States visa at that time for several years. So anything you would like to add to this?
Well, the man has a very dirty past attached to his political legacy. The fact remains that he is somebody who has been playing the anti-Muslim and anti-Islam card to come to power, and since then he has been using the same to perpetuate his rule, first as the Chief Minister of Gujarat and then as the Prime Minister of... You have to first understand the ground realities in India, the dynamics of the Indian politics. They need anti-Pakistani card to come into power. On the contrary, Pakistan, being an independent democratic country, we never indulge in this sort of bashing or warmongering or scaremongering against any country, but they do. Now you have to keep in mind one thing, Ali, that there is the state assembly elections coming up. Elections in Kerala, elections in West Bengal, elections in Assam, elections in Tamil Nadu. And these elections basically are something which has a direct bearing on the general elections to be held in 2029. So what they are doing right now is that they're trying to actually draw political mileage out of anti-Islam or bashing against Pakistan, falsely implicating Pakistan in this drama that they had staged in the face of this Pahalgam incident. So they are basically playing the political card, and it's a very sad reality that their minor political dynamics have a very huge bearing on the strategic policies that these Indians formulate. So I feel sorry for them, but the fact remains that Pakistan at its end need to do all it possibly can to safeguard its territorial and integrity and sovereignty, and we are completely on it. We are completely on the ball. Our diplomats, our politicians, our civil leadership, our military leadership has been doing all it possibly could to dispel the impression that India has been trying to dent Pakistan's image, to tarnish Pakistan, to malign Pakistan, to defame
Hassan,
Pakistan.
it has been the rhetoric of India for decades to malign the image of Pakistan. I mean, if we talk about the history of India, India's pattern of the old reputation of the past behavior. You talk about the Pulwama incident, you talk about the previous wars of 1965, 1971, in which India played a gruesome role. And this conflict, I believe, dates back to the partition, 1947, when the two states, they were formed, Pakistan and India. So this is something not new which India is resorting to. India always saw Pakistan from the eye of hostility, and it was never in the favor of Pakistan, and that's why we can see that India right now is not providing any fruitful evidence in this Pahalgam false flag operation, and it is trying to hide its incompetencies. Earlier, ladies and gentlemen, there was this news regarding the incompetencies of the Modi government, in which the Indian youths, they were promised 20 million job opportunities inside India. And we can see a lot of polarity in India. The Indians, they are lambasting against the Modi government. They are also demanding the evidence. So, Mahnoor, talking about India's patterns of the old reputation of the past behavior, how do you see this entire situation?
Actually, India is trying to shift their focus. India is trying to shift their image from a terrorist state to a victim state, and this narrative is not bought by the world. We have already seen that people are rejecting this thing. They are not buying it, even not only in Pakistan, but in Europe, in Western countries as well. And we all know that there were few reports by EU Disinfo Lab back in 2020 after the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A in Kashmir, that India is using fake accounts, India is using forged image for narrative building against Pakistan. So we all know that what India is doing, and as Hassan has already mentioned, that there are elections coming up and they need anti-Pakistan stance for getting into power, and we all know that. But there is only one word which Mr. Bilawal has already mentioned few months back, that he is the butcher of Gujarat, and what he is doing in India, we have all seen that what he is doing with the Christians, what he is doing with the Sikhs there, and what he is doing with the Muslims there, and the narrative they are trying to sell to the world is miserably rejected. We have seen that the people from India came to social media and they're telling that we are alive, why you're showing us that we are dead. So it's you know, it's the time of technology. You cannot hide the truth, and we all know that the way Pakistani leadership, civil military leadership is trying to protect Pakistan, and we will do that. As Hassan has already mentioned, that we are on it, and we all know that our technology, whether it is kinetic or non-kinetic, and we are able to defend ourselves, and our youth is capable enough not to buy any such kind of misinformation or false narrative on social media. And we have seen how they calm each other through their memes, how they calm each other through social media, that we are ready to defend our
We
country.
believe that Pakistan's
Yeah.
meme game is
That's quite high. That's quite high as compared to India. And even as a media person, as a journalist, the role their media is playing is
very
really
gruesome.
disappointing.
It's very
I have seen them like bashing Pakistani analysts, bashing Pakistani journalists, not allowing them to talk. They are trying to fight. They're trying.
Mahnoor, I believe that they are resorting to such disinformation campaign and all such war-mongering tactics just to capture the eyeballs. But they're not, I believe that they're not very much aware. I mean, they are aware, but they're not feeling the gravity of the situation.
Exactly, and they are too much scared of us that they have banned our 16 channel. They have banned the Facebook page of Associated Press of Pakistan. So that shows that they are not letting people
They have
know
banned
the truth.
social media accounts
Exactly.
of our Information Minister,
Obviously.
Tawla Tarar, Prime Minister, President,
And the most interesting
whatnot.
thing, what I have seen on social media, that people are watching them through VPN. That shows that people know what the truth is and what they are doing with the people and how they are getting the eyeballs, how they are getting into power by using anti-Pakistan narrative. But we all know that there's a that's not a win-win situation.
So this
That's a
time
lose-lose
basically, the India's real face is out and loud. It's clear.
Exposed.
It's
It's
exposed.
badly
India's
exposed,
stance
yeah.
exposed the incompetencies of the
Yeah.
Modi government and the barbarism of
Exactly.
the Indian government. The rightist rhetoric of the
Exactly.
Modi government is out and loud in front of the everyone.
Exactly, not only in India, not only in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, what they are doing in Canada, what they are doing in US.
Yes.
They have been exposed badly.
What they are doing to the Sikh community in India.
Obviously, and obviously when we as a Muslim, if we feel bad about not only for Muslims in India, but for the other minorities in India, because no one is safe. No one, even the Hindus are not safe if they are telling the truth. So no one is safe. Everyone has to follow the Modi's narrative so that they could be safe. They are, they are.
And if they don't
firing
follow
them
the
from their
Modi's
jobs.
narrative, they are not safe in India.
Exactly.
And
no
this
one.
is a very unfortunate reality. So there is no press freedom, there is no freedom at any level, be it the individual level, be it any level you say.
Even there is no job security if you tell the truth. So what the media is doing, they are bound to do that. They have no other option, obviously. So
Yes.
that's why they are doing such things. That's not the state narrative only, that's the narrative of their media as well, to promote the war mongering situation. And obviously they are getting eyeballs through it, but not only in India, not in the world.
Absolutely,
We all know what's happening.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So Hassan, coming back to you, this very important non-kinetic move by Pakistan, I mean, Ishaq Dar, our Deputy Prime Minister, he directed the Ambassador Asim Iftikhar Ahmad to convene this United Nations Security Council meeting in view of the current situation between Pakistan and India, and Pakistan being the proponent of peace. And Pakistan definitely is not going to initiate any kinetic move, but there's our government, our armed forces, they are making sure and they are repeating the same thing again and again, that in case of any misadventurism, we will be using our full might and we will not let India sabotage our peace and sovereignty.
Right.
So how vital do you think the role of the United Nations Security Council can be in diffusing this situation?
Well, the role of the United Nations has sadly been slightly disappointing in the recent crisis. Particularly if you look at the Gaza situation, what they have done is basically calling emergency meetings.
The Kashmir
passing
situation as well, I mean, which
condemning
is
it,
on the agenda
expressing
since
concern.
decades.
Yes, that's right.
And it still remains the unresolved dispute.
But internationally, it does have a lot of weight for Pakistan because it shows how credible Pakistan's position, how clear Pakistan's conscience is when it comes to the Pahalgam incident, and the fact that the United Nations Security Council has called its session an emergency also is a manifestation of the fact that there is something really sinister cooking in the pan. Because as I said, I really am very personally concerned about the statement given by
Hassan,
Rajnath
we
Singh.
also came to know earlier that there were several intelligence reports in which there were leaked documents as well from India, which basically provided the evidence of something gruesome that has been cooking in India on part of the Modi government.
That's right. See, they are right now, as we speak, they are carrying security drills. Their civil defense is preparing. So, if you look at the statement given by Rajnath Singh, he says that something unexpected, something unthinkable could happen on 7th of May. And this is exactly what the Pakistani policymakers have gauged. And the intensified diplomatic activity that we are seeing at the international level involving Pakistan is not without a reason. They know what is cooking in the pan, they know what is coming up, they know what is on the cards. India has not staged this entire drama only for the sake of drama. They have not staged this drama to be scorned by international community, to be shrugged off by international community, to be condemned by international community. They have done this to attain and achieve certain nefarious foul designs.
I agree. I absolutely agree that, you know, India has staged all this drama to achieve its ulterior motives, the nefarious ulterior motives, I must say. But what I personally feel is, and I hope that you might agree with me on this part, that, you know, now things have gotten out of hands from India's hands as well.
That's another way of looking at it. You're right. A lot of analysts believe that India is actually caught up in its own commitment trap. It was expecting that the world will be siding with Pakistan, but not a single country has shown any tilt towards Pakistan, against India, unlike the past. Not even the countries which were very close to India, say Israel, say Russia. I mean, take Russia for example. Their foreign minister called India's foreign minister and asked him to behave himself when it comes to dealing with Pakistan.
And also there has been the news that today Putin, he called Narendra Modi and he basically talked about de-escalation of the situation.
De-escalation is something that all international bodies and all the important world capitals have offered their support for. Facilitating, promoting efforts that diffuses and de-escalates the situation, because see, the situation right now is such that if, God forbid, a conflict breaks out, it is not going to be a bilateral conflict. It is going to have regional repercussions and very widespread ramifications. That is why China is concerned, that is why Russia is concerned, that is why Iran is concerned. And by the way, the statement that has come from China supporting Pakistan in its efforts to ensure its sovereignty has awfully dented India's morale, because India was not expecting that, by the way. Yes, India is standing isolated, but it seems that India is also at the same time behaving like a rogue state. It says that we are holding the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance, which means that they are going to be trampling under feet all international laws and conventions. They will be depriving Pakistan of its due share of water, which is again an unjust thing on the part of India. So they are actually appearing as a rogue state.
And let's not forget that India is not abiding by the United Nations rules, regulations and laws by holding this treaty in abeyance unilaterally.
Yes, that's right. That's very right. It is not the first time that India has gone against Indus Waters Treaty. The construction of Baglihar Dam, the construction of Kishanganga Dam is also in violation. And I'm really surprised that an organization like World Bank, which is the sole guarantor of the Indus Waters Treaty, is maintaining silence on this.
And that's
this is
very
also
unfortunate.
leading to the erosion of these IFIs in the eyes of the international community, that they make a commitment and then they forget about it, right?
Absolutely.
So that's really something that is not just eroding the credibility of these organizations, but also causing a lot of harm to Pakistan too. But at the same time, it's very welcome to see Pakistan's leadership again reiterating, rather reaffirming the call for peace. Today there was a very important conference in Islamabad, which was attended by a lot of national and international analysts and speakers and experts of foreign policy. And Pakistan's foreign minister and also the deputy prime minister, Mr. Ishaq Dar, said that despite all the turbulence, despite all the turmoil prevailing in the region, Pakistan still stands for peace. Pakistan, it was basically let's say covert or overt offer of friendship to India, that, you know, behave yourself. I really hope that this message is to be paid heed by the Indian policymakers and sanity prevails, and they sort of.
But unfortunately, India is not decoding the message, let's say. And
as I
India's
said, you know,
insanity is out and loud in front of everyone, not just in front of the Pakistan, not just within India, but in front of the globe.
I wish I'm wrong, but I can personally, as an observer or a student of international relations, smell a rat in the present circumstances. India has not gone to that extent only to backtrack. They are having something in their mind, they are doing something.
Right, Hassan,
really
we will be coming back to you, and now there is going to be a breaking news. We'll be coming back to you after a short break. Well, this is the news. Just in, Indian dirty plan for terrorism in Balochistan has been exposed. The nefarious designs of India are being exposed out and loud. India trying to sabotage the peace and security of Pakistan. And according to the credible intelligence sources, the infamous intelligence agency RAW has activated its proxies in different areas of Balochistan. According to RAW's terror plan, BLA, Fitna al-Khawarij and illegal Afghans have been instructed to carry out terror attacks in Gwadar, Quetta, Khuzdar, and as per the intelligence sources reports, the infamous intelligence agency RAW has activated its proxies in different areas of Balochistan. The law enforcement agencies of Pakistan are fully prepared to thwart these plans. And for getting more details, we have been joined by our special correspondent Raza Khan. Raza, what further insights can you provide?
Yes, Ali, another dirty plan by India has come to fore, and after India's failure in the Pahalgam false flag operation, now a major terror plan by India in Balochistan has been exposed. According to credible intelligence sources, infamous Indian intelligence agency RAW has activated its proxies in different areas of Balochistan. According to RAW's terror plan, BLA, Fitna al-Khawarij and illegal Afghans have been instructed to carry out terror attacks in Gwadar, Quetta and Khuzdar, according to intelligence sources. For terror attacks, Indian intelligence agency RAW has sent some other terrorists besides BLA and Fitna al-Khawarij to relevant areas in Afghanistan. According to credible information, some suicide bombers who can use a car or a motorcycle in terrorist attacks have been given reconnaissance of relevant areas. Law enforcement agencies are active to foil this nefarious plan of terrorism being carried out under Indian auspices. Clear and undeniable evidence of India's terrorism in Balochistan has already come to light. India is trying to spread unrest in Pakistan by instigating terrorism in Balochistan. Behind this big plan of terrorism in Balochistan is the disastrous failure of the Pahalgam false flag operation. Yes, Ali.
Providing us the details, our special correspondent was telling us about the India's nefarious intentions and its plans to carry out the terror activities in Balochistan. But the Pakistan's armed forces and the government of Pakistan are fully prepared to respond to any misadventure by India on its part. The armed forces of Pakistan are standing resolute in unison to respond to any misadventurism. And let me tell you about the testing of the missile. In this week, 2 missiles have been tested. First one was Abdali, and the other one was also tested today. The missile has the range of 142 kilometers, surface to surface ballistic missile. And all these exercises are the part of exercise Indus, which is taking place in order to ensure the preparedness of the Pakistan Army to respond to any misadventure by India. But Pakistan, in the very first place, being the proponent of peace, is not going to initiate any kinetic move. But in case of any misadventure by India, any kinetic move by India, India will be responded by all its might. This is what the government is saying. This is what the armed forces of Pakistan, it is ensuring that the misadventure or any notorious move on behalf of the India is going to be met with full might. So Hassan, coming back to you, that this latest breaking news as per the credible intelligence sources, the infamous intelligence agency RAW has activated its proxies in different parts of Balochistan. And let's not forget the gruesome incident of Jafar Express that happened.
You know, we have 2 borders, eastern border and the western border. Unfortunately, our enemies on both these borders is the same. On the eastern side, they are fighting directly. On the western side, they are fighting through proxies. And RAW, of course, RAW's presence or their agents' presence in Pakistan in the face of Kalbhushan Yadav or any other people is not something which is a secret. It's an open, let's say an open secret for everybody. Now, before I get to your specific question, let me let you know that I have recently been watching an interview of the RAW former chief, Mr. Amarjeet Singh Daulat, who said, it's not us saying that, by the way, it's the former chief of the RAW saying that the incident of shooting in Pahalgam is a complete security lapse, a complete utter security failure on the part of the Indian security forces.
Absolutely.
Then he said that it has got nothing to do with the Kashmiris. In the other way, he is implying that it has got nothing to do with the accusations that are being leveled against Pakistan.
Right.
This is the former RAW chief saying that. Don't believe us, listen to your own ex-chief of RAW. Completely sort of, delinking Pakistan.
And Hassan, let me add further to this thing that this very unfortunate, I don't know what other word to use about this to describe the gravity of this incident which happened almost 2 weeks ago, the Pahalgam incident. All the civilians, the casualties were handled, taken care of by Muslims.
Sure.
And India, on the other hand, is targeting Muslims. It is maligning the image of Muslims.
If you look at the overall landscape of India, India is of course primarily targeting Muslims, but India at the same time is also not sparing Sikhs and also not sparing
The minorities,
Christians.
they're not safe in India.
What happened with Hardeep Singh Nijjar? What happened on the Australian soil? What happened in San Francisco? What happened in Canada? Canada, as a matter of fact, has also severed ties with India because of its agents' alleged maneuvering and activities on the Canadian soil. So India's involvement in terrorism, India's involvement in fanning extremism within Kashmir, Indian illegally occupied Kashmir on the foreign soils is not something unknown. And India accusing Pakistan is like calling, it's like the cattle calling, what's the saying, I'm just forgetting that. What I'm saying is basically that who the hell is doing if Pakistan is not doing anything to fight terrorism?
True.
As you and I speak, we have had an operation in South and North Waziristan over the last couple of days that killed dozens of Kharjis. So Pakistan is fighting these monsters every day.
And Pakistan, let's not forget that it has suffered immense loss in the name of terrorism, financially, in the name of our armed forces. So many, countless civilians, they lost their lives in the face of terrorism that happened in Pakistan. And Pakistan has always shunned terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. Pakistan has paid a very heavy price for fighting against the terrorism, and there had been several operations that were conducted in past for fighting terrorism, and India was one of the greatest reasons behind all the terrorist activities that were happening in Pakistan. Let's for instance take into account today's recent incident in which Majid, a terrorist sponsored by India, was found, and all the leaked audios, they were taken care of.
Well, to me, it's no wonder, Ali, because this is something that has been happening in Pakistan for the last decades, if not centuries. India, of course, has been seeing Pakistan as its adversary, as its enemy. All our efforts to make peace with India have been turned down, have been shrugged off, and now Pakistan is also feeling and believing that we have had enough of it. We have shown enough restraint. India has abused our good nature for a long time.
True.
Now Pakistan is ready
Basically,
to fight
India
back.
misconstrued our intentions for peace.
That's actually the main problem at the end of the Indian policy makers, that they are not ready to listen to any call of peace and any call of peaceful coexistence. As a matter of fact, there are so many commonalities between Netanyahu and Modi. Both are bent upon ethnic cleansing of Muslims, of Sikhs, of Christians. What they believe is that Jews and Hindus are the two most superior races of the world, something which also traces its history to what ideology was pursued by Hitler, believing that Germans are the greatest race in the world.
True.
What Hitler did then is being done now by Modi and Netanyahu. So that's quite a shame, and I mean, they are actually disenfranchising, completely subjugating, oppressing, repressing, suppressing the innocent people who are not Hindus, whether it's Muslims or Christians or Sikhs, all are suffering at the hands of these brutal
Right.
RSS ideologists.
Right. Mahnoor, coming back to you, we have talked about India's insanity. It has lost all its sanity and it's resorting to the nefarious designs, warmongering tactics, and all about its past history. Given the history, which it is trying to basically use all these tactics to achieve its ulterior motives. So, being an analyst, how far do you think that India, despite all its gruesome tactics, was successful in achieving all these ulterior motives?
I believe when we are talking about the motives of India, one thing we need to mention is that India is trying to curtail China through such proxies, through such accusation against Pakistan, and we have seen that when China is standing with Pakistan, so it already demoralized India. So basically we have seen that they are using such tactics since long, when there was abrogation of article before that, and then Pulwama and all such things. So they were doing it since long, but I believe India is not achieving their target because of certain things. They are fighting on all fronts. They are fighting on all the borders. They are fighting in the eastern front, the western front. They are fighting against Pakistan. They are fighting in other countries, western countries. And as we have already talked about, the ethnic cleansing. So India is badly exposed, and I believe in the future as well they cannot do much about their targets, because the world has already seen the true face of India, especially in Pakistan, especially what they are doing in Balochistan. But as you have already mentioned a few minutes back, the terrorist that has been killed.
It is taking advantage of the proxies to sabotage
and
peace of the province.
What has happened in Jafar Express, we all know that, the world knows that, what they are doing with Balochistan, why their radio channels are airing programs in Balochistan.
Civilians, I mean, when we talk about children, the women, they were taken as hostage by
and
the
now they are
terrorists.
blowing up homes in Kashmir, and now there were few news that they were trying to build few hydropower projects in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir.
Well, unfortunately, India has actually turned the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir into a militarized prison.
Exactly.
And till this date, I mean, even today I was reading the news that it is continuously sabotaging the peace of the region, killing innocent civilians.
Exactly.
And it is completely focused to take away, to snatch rather,
Exactly.
I must use this appropriate word, to snatch the rights and properties of the Muslims living there.
Exactly, and through few international conferences, they were trying to show their peaceful image that we are rebuilding Kashmir and we are providing all the rights to the people. But world has known what they are doing after this Pahalgam attack with the people, with the Muslims there, and how they are without any, they don't have the evidence what they are doing with the Muslims there. So they were just looking for some reasons to kill Muslim. Actually, they always look for some reasons to kill the minorities in India or in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and they are supporting it through maligning Pakistan's image and through such kind of accusations. But I believe that India has not achieved their target, and in the future they are not going to do that, because I believe that we have played a very good masterstroke on our diplomatic ends, or civil leadership is,
and it's
they are on it.
It's an achievement for Pakistan, I must say that.
Well, when we talk about the missile, experiments, it's the military leadership, and when we are talking about the diplomatic end, we are doing it, I believe we are doing it really well. So our civil and military leadership both are on it, and they are working on it, and the world is responding positively to us. That's the most positive thing about it. So I believe that we all must know that India is doing that. After every few months they are used to do such things.
Basically, India is just trying to get the eyeballs towards it.
Eyeballs, they have elections going on, they want to shift their
this is
image.
one thing which I see, this is one of the factors I see behind the India's jingoistic attitude, or the Indian jingoism, which world is talking about, which we are talking about. And I must say that it is somewhat a blessing in disguise that India's true face is out and loud clear in front of everyone.
And that has given a chance to work.
Pakistan earlier in all its participation in the international platforms has pointed out the nefarious designs of India, but somehow unfortunately world did not pay heed towards it the way it should have had. But now it is out and loud, and now the world is actually very concerned, because we know this one thing, that both nations are the nuclear powers.
Exactly.
And God forbid, if something happens, I mean, if we talk about what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
Obviously.
still till this date, it is paying a price for it. So now we are talking about 2025 and Pakistan having the asset of 300 nuclear missiles and bombs.
As we have already talked about that it would be having some regional implications of it, and I believe India is stupid, but not that much stupid enough to go to that level.
True.
And obviously we have already talked about that we want peace, but we know how to deter, and we have the second strike capability as well.
True.
Everybody knows that Pakistan is a nuclear state, and obviously nukes are not for the decoration, we all know that. But the other thing is that it has given a chance to our neighboring states and the people there, in which India was very active in promoting their narrative against Pakistan, that is Bangladesh. And now Bangladesh is supporting Pakistan. The students are coming out and they are supporting Pakistan. That's a very big thing, because
True.
India since long is trying to build their narrative against Pakistan. So this one attack, this one incident, it's a false flag obviously, but that has given a chance to the people to be united for a greater cause.
Yes, Hassan, coming back to you, that regarding this Bangladesh protest that was staged in favor of Pakistan and against the Indian jingoism, the people of Bangladesh, they are rejecting this false narrative post Pahalgam false flag operation. They are rejecting the narrative of Modi. They are absolutely against the rightist attitude of the Modi government, which is the suppression of the minorities, and which is talking against Muslims. And also our Deputy Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar, he had a telephonic conversation with the Foreign Advisor of Bangladesh, Mr. Tawheed Hussain. So what further would you like to add?
Before I come to that, speaking of the scaremongering that Mahnoor was just mentioning, Indian media is playing a very negative role in fanning hatred in this crucial phase. Now, I would just like to say that Indian media is basically divided into two segments. One is the senior side of it, which have responsible people who are doing objective journalism. Of course, they have loyalties with their country, and every journalist should have. But the fact remains that there are three people who are actually supposed to be either in mental hospital or some circus. Because these clowns, these are constantly saying things which make absolutely no sense. One is a fugitive of the Indian army, something Gaurav Arya. The other is a non-journalist named Arnab Goswami, and third is a half-sane retired Major General J.D. Bakshi. They are resorting to such venom spitting against Pakistan, without being without even thinking through it, what the hell they are saying. I mean, announcing head money on notable Pakistanis. What are they doing? You're sitting in a country of more than 1 billion people. You're journalists, so-called journalists. I'm talking about the Republic TV. These three individuals, these senseless and brainless people, for the last 10 to 12 days have been constantly puking venom against Pakistan and saying things which are ridiculous and ludicrous in extreme, utter nonsense.
I must say that they are speaking criminal things against Pakistan, against its armed forces.
I mean, I do not know that how the Indian people actually tolerate this. Speaking at the top of your lungs, yelling and launching a constant tirade against Pakistan does not make your stance any substantial.
So basically, let's just say that it is trying to trigger its own people. It is trying to, provoke its people against Pakistan.
Right. And you know why they're doing so? If you look at the Indian population, majority of the population is very illiterate and naive. The kind of cards that they are playing is basically aimed at stoking emotions.
True.
Unlike Pakistani people who are very politically aware and very sharp in terms
And
of
this actually
gauging and
reminds me
understanding
one of the
things.
theories of the mass communication, which is the agenda setting theory.
Right.
So it
So
is
it's
basically
very,
trying to set the agenda of the
yeah,
Indian people
and
in
they
a
know
very brazen way.
they know that their strength lies in fanning hatred and inciting the Indian public, infuriating the already hard-lined Indians against Pakistan, against Muslims, and to basically grind their own axis. But these three individuals stand out when it comes to trampling under feet all norms and ethics and morality when you are doing journalism.
True.
They are misleading their people. They are actually creating dissension within the Muslim population within India, and they are basically not harming Pakistan but harming the very fabric,
Right.
social fabric of their own society.
So basically,
Right.
where is ethical journalism? I believe that International Federation of Journalists should take some action against it,
True.
because they are not journalists. They
That's
are
because they're
they
not
are on the
journalists.
agenda
is
setting.
it?
Obviously,
I mean, this guy Arnab Goswami is basically a television host. Okay, fine.
Right, right.
But he's
Hassan,
not
I'm
being a
afraid we'll
journalist.
be going towards a short break. It's time for the headlines of the hour, but don't go anywhere, because we will be talking more about the jingoism of India and how Pakistan is basically responding to the India's rhetoric. So stay tuned to PTV World.